I'm your host, Pat's Path Predictor, and we have breaking news. Alright, so this is the situation we have right here. This is Tropical Storm Blas right here. It is currently continuing to intensify as we speak. As you can see, let's actually go ahead and pause the last frame. You can see that this is starting to get its act together. You can see that there's minus 80 plus cloud tops all around the center of circulation right here, which is very interesting to take a look at because that's showing signs of organization, that's showing signs of strengthening right there. And we're also seeing these cloud tops surrounding this area right here. So my guess that this thing is, at this point, the advisory at the time of recording is going to be out in about an hour or so. So I'm thinking this is going to be a 60-mile-per-hour tropical storm at least, considering the rapid organization and considering the cloud tops at least. That's what we're looking at. We also it's also under very warm water, and I'll show you why. Basically, let's go ahead and show you guys this. That's not the best map. Okay, this is slightly better. Yeah, it's under 28 to 29 degrees Celsius water temperature. So that's it's around 85 degrees water of that is right there. So that's an interesting thing to take a look at right there. So we'll continue to pay attention to this as it develops. Let's go ahead and read what the NHC has to say about this. Maximum sustained winds are now at 50 miles per hour and is expected to become a hurricane tomorrow and further strengthening possible on Thursday. Tropical storm force winds now extend 70 miles from the center, so this hurricane is, the strength of this is, and the size is also growing as well. So this is the situation we have. This is the satellite imagery. You can see that this the center of circulation this happened just recently, and we had this little flare up, and then boom, in the last 30 minutes we're seeing this. So this is an interesting situation. Not only that, the wind shear is also pretty weak here as well. So there's really nothing stopping this thing from from intensifying any further. Let's go ahead and look at the cone of this as we continue to. You can see that those tropical storm force winds are starting to wrap around a little bit on the western side of it as well. And this thing is now expected to become a 90-mile-per-hour hurricane at its peak. So hurricane strength is strengthening. My range of this thing at its max strength is going to be around, I would say, my range would be around 80 to 100 miles per hour. That's my range right now, but if we continue to see what we're seeing in the last 30 minutes continue for several hours, I might have to change that estimate right there just to let you guys know. And let's go ahead and take a look at the intensity, because the majority of the models are now looking at this, and they're also saying this potentially could get up to a Cat 1 hurricane. Some have it weaker than others. Some keep it around 80 to 85 miles per hour. Others have it a little closer to 90. We do have one model, the COTI, that has this go all the way up to potentially a 105-mile-per-hour Category 2 hurricane, and we have one right on the edge of Category 2 as well, maybe around 100 miles per hour right there. So that's the HWFI. So that's the situation we have. The majority of the models have this as a hurricane. The minority have this as a tropical storm. This is an area of interest I've been keeping an eye on, and I will continue to keep an eye on it. So yeah, stay tuned for any more updates I have on this thing. So yeah, that's basically it for Tropical Storm Blas. The next segment we're going to be talking about is Invest 93L, which developed earlier this afternoon off the coast of Nicaragua. So this thing is currently organizing. It's taking its time developing. There is very strong wind shear. Let me show you what I'm looking at. There's very strong wind shear right there. So that is going to in the long run hinder its development. But let's go ahead and take a look at the current storm information. We have winds at 20 knots or 25 miles per hour. Pressure's 1,009, and its location is 12 degrees north, 82.7 degrees west. And this is basically what we have. There's a 40% chance of development right now in the next 5 days, 30% in the next 2. Satellite imagery and surface observations indicate that a small area of low pressure is deformed in the far southwestern Caribbean Sea, accompanied by disorganized showers and thunderstorms. Further development of the system is possible while it drifts northwestward near the coasts of Nicaragua and Honduras, and it could become a tropical depression later this week if the disturbance remains over water. A Air Force Reserve Hurricane Hunter aircraft is scheduled to investigate the system tomorrow if necessary. That's good. We need this, because we need observations right there to figure out what's going on in this thing and if this thing has really any chance of development, which yes it does. It's just going to take its time doing that. Let's continue. Regardless of development, this low could produce heavy rainfall across eastern Nicaragua and eastern Honduras late this week. So yeah, the flooding threat is going to be pretty large with this. Let's go ahead and take a look at the tracks with this and the intensity. Interesting thing to take a look at is that the track models have this thing potentially making landfall in Nicaragua and crossing over. It stays over land for maybe like 12 hours or so. And they move through. The majority of them making landfall in the southern Yucatan. Others have it making landfall in Belize, and then they cross the Yucatan into the Gulf of Mexico. And the environment in the Bay of Campeche is much more favorable for development than in the Caribbean Sea. Not because of the warm water, because the water is extremely warm in the Caribbean right now. It's just the insane amount of wind shear that's there. So let's go ahead and pull that wind shear profile up. Like, look at this. We're seeing a massive area of 60 knots of wind shear right here. This thing's going to hinder its development. And then if the wind shear ends up calming down the Bay of Campeche in the next few days, then this thing could potentially develop into something further. Let's go ahead and take a look at the intensity models. The models seem to be 50-50 on this. I mean, a slight majority have this going up to a tropical storm. A large minority of this have it going as a tropical depression. It's too early for me to really say how strong this thing is going to get, but there are some models. The H-Wharf has this thing going up all the way to a Category 1 hurricane, which at this point, considering the wind shear, I don't think it's going to happen at this point. I think it's going to be at its max strength, potentially a 60-mile-per-hour tropical storm. That's my estimate right there, and so from now on. So that's essentially the situation we have right here. So pretty much we have the intensity of this. That's the intensity that's like all over the place right now. The track of this is in more agreement right here. So that's essentially the situation we have. This is the update on Tropical Storm Blas and Invest 93L. So with that being said, it's going to wrap up this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. It helps me out. It helps me make more videos like these. The goal of this channel is to get more people engaged with weather, which I'm hoping I'm doing with these videos right here. So with that being said, guys, have a wonderful day. Be sure to hit that red subscribe button and stay safe.